I never believed in the kind of love that consumes you, the kind that steals your sleep and eats away at your every thought, until I saw her. It wasn't supposed to happen, not in the way it did. She walked into the cafe on a rainy afternoon, her laugh bright and unbothered by the storm outside. She wasn't alone. Her husband trailed just behind her, gently brushing the raindrops from her shoulders. And that's when it began. The ache. The dangerous flutter in my chest that told me I was already in trouble. Her name was Emily. I knew because her husband said it softly, like it was the most natural thing in the world to belong to someone. I couldn't stop staring. The way her dark hair framed her face, the curve of her lips, the confidence in her walk, it was magnetic. My eyes betrayed me, following her every move, even when I told myself to look away. They sat a few tables down from me, sharing a pot of tea between them. Emily spoke animatedly, her hands moving with grace, her eyes sparkling as though she carried her own light. Her husband smiled, nodded, listened. But I could tell he wasn't seeing what I was seeing. He wasn't memorizing every detail, wasn't burning every smile into memory. He didn't know how rare it was to be loved by someone like Emily. And I hated him for it. From that day, I couldn't get her out of my head. My friends laughed when I confessed I'd been haunted by a stranger's smile. They said it was just a crush, something fleeting, but they didn't understand. This wasn't fleeting. It was obsession. Emily was different. Days turned into weeks, and somehow fate, or maybe cruel luck, kept bringing us into the same places. Grocery aisles, bookstores, late-night walks near the river. Always with her husband by her side, but always with that same laugh, that same glow that pulled me in no matter how hard I tried to fight it. One evening, I saw her alone for the first time. She was sitting on a bench in the park, a book in her hand, the fading sun painting her skin gold. My heart pounded as I walked past her, pretending not to notice, though every nerve in my body screamed at me to stop, to speak, to say something, anything. But I didn't. I kept walking, carrying the weight of regret like a stone. That night, I lay awake, replaying her image in my mind, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the crease in her brow as she read, the gentleness of her smile. I wanted her desperately, recklessly, but she wasn't mine. She belonged to someone else. And yet, deep inside, I knew I wouldn't be able to stay away. It was a week later when fate finally answered my restless heart. I walked into the bookstore I often visited, hoping to distract myself from the storm inside me, and there she was, Emily, alone again. She stood near the poetry section, her fingers gently running across the spines as if searching for something she had lost. My breath caught. I wanted to turn away, to protect myself from the pull she had on me, but my legs betrayed me. I found myself walking closer, pretending to browse the shelf beside her. She looked up at me, and for the first time, our eyes met. Her gaze was warm, curious, not hurried like most people's. I froze, but she smiled, and that smile nearly ended me. "Do you like poetry?" she asked softly, her voice melodic, the kind that settles into your bones. I swallowed, forcing myself to speak. "Yes, though I read more than I understand, I think." She chuckled, the sound soft and light. "That's the beauty of poetry. Sometimes it doesn't need to be understood, only felt." Her words lingered in the air, and I clung to them desperately, like they were meant just for me. For a moment, it was as if the world had shrunk, as if we were the only two people inside that quiet bookstore. We talked for a few minutes about books, favorite authors, the comfort of words when life feels too heavy. Every second felt stolen, dangerous, but intoxicating. And then, just as quickly as it had begun, the moment ended. A phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced at it, and her expression softened with familiarity. "My husband," she murmured almost apologetically, as if she owed me an explanation. He's waiting. The word husband cut through me, sharp and undeniable. I forced a smile, nodding. Of course. She placed the book back on the shelf and gave me one last smile before walking away. I watched her leave, every step tearing something from me. But I also felt something else. Hope, because for the first time, I wasn't invisible to her. She had seen me, spoken to me, shared a piece of herself with me. It was enough to ignite the fire inside me into something far more dangerous. That night, I couldn't stop replaying our conversation, the sound of her laugh, the way her eyes softened when she spoke of poetry, the brief touch of her hand as she passed me in the aisle. I lay awake, my heart restless, my body aching for her presence. I told myself it was wrong, that I should let it go, but the truth was clear. I was already far too deep. Emily wasn't just a passing crush anymore. She was the center of my world, the pulse in my veins, the obsession I couldn't silence. And I knew with terrifying certainty this was only the beginning. After that day in the bookstore, something changed. It was as if the universe had unlocked a door, one I had been pressing against in silence, and now there was no going back. This was only the beginning, but soon, fate would push us into a storm we could never escape. This was only the beginning, but soon, fate would push us into a storm we could never escape. Part 2 will be shared with you very soon.